Hey everyone, I'm Summer. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to share the color matching process of this bartender character. If you are interested in the design process of this character, you can watch my last video. The design and drawing of this character can be described as real-time. I usually draw in the morning and make videos in the afternoon. Each day's video is based on the progress of the day. I'm planning to try making a series of videos about the complete drawing process of this character. This way, I might have a clearer understanding of my choices and thinking process. The biggest confusion when I was learning design was why artists would do it this way. I watched many fast-speed painting videos during the learning process and could see very good processes, but I had no idea how artists thought during the creative process and why they made such choices and decisions. I could only try different ways when practicing on my own, and the learning speed was very slow. It was not until I met my teacher that he could analyze the design very thoroughly and also encourage us to make many associations of emotional and graphic abstract elements. This benefited me a lot, and my thinking gradually broadened. So I want to make my thoughts as clear as possible through my video. I hope this video can be helpful to you who want to learn digital painting skills. Then let's start enjoying the wonderful painting process. After finishing the sketch, I was supposed to refine the structure of the character and the weapon. However, I was quite looking forward to the final effect of the character and couldn't resist doing the color matching. I wanted to see the effect after adding colors. The reason why I did the color matching step in advance was that I was quite worried about whether the character could stand out in the picture. From the character requirements document, there are descriptions of some features of this character, such as silver hair. During battles, the transparency of the body changes as the skill cools down. How to properly represent the transparency of the body and the light. Hair color was a problem that bothered me for a whole night. To highlight the character's silver hair and transparent body, I choose to change the skin color of the character. I want to change the skin color to a darker one. This way, it can create a contrast of lightness with the light-colored hair and the gradually transparent body, and better highlight these two distinctive features of the character. Ultimately, I chose a low saturation grayish blue. For the dark areas of silver hair, cool colors are usually selected. Choosing grayish blue for the skin was also to make the character's tone more unified. At the same time, I also tried to compare different hues and lightness colors that could be used for silver hair. Eventually, I chose the blue series of colors with low saturation and relatively high lightness. Color saturation of both the hair and the skin is very low. I'm worried that the picture might be rather dull. I added a blue with high brightness and saturation to the hair layers at the back. This can make a good layering distinction between the hair and the body, and also enhance the color contrast relationship in the picture. I will make the front ends of the legs and arms have a semi-transparent texture effect. To achieve a semi-transparent and cooled state, I chose to use a gradient form and added a low saturation bright blue to the skin base color. Currently, there is a lack of low brightness colors in the character section. I have added dark colors to the clothing, but the area is not too large. I chose to use linear forms to add dark colors. This way, through the contrast of local light and dark in the picture, more rhythm changes can be added. has a heavy color but the legs don't, which gives a feeling of hitting the foot lightly. I added decorative knee pads to the knees. The shoes are designed in a dark color, and at the same time, linear straps are added to create a stronger contrast in lightness between the dark color and the semi-transparent light color of the leg. For the dark color part, I used low saturation bright yellow and added small areas of metal decorative elements. This was also to make the dark color part less dull. Through local bright colors, the rhythm changes were added. The color of the character's clothing was not well thought out. Based on the existing color perception in the picture, I adjusted the color of the harp to a dark color, which was also to create a contrast with the higher brightness colors of the character's hair and skin. In the later stage, I planned to make the strings of the harp glow. The dark color of the harp body can also create a stronger contrast with the glowing strings. The character has a small area of metal decoration. I also used the same yellow for the elements, like the watch face, in the background, which can make the colors and materials in the background correspond to those in the character. I tried adjusting several colors of the fabric inside the skirt for comparison. Eventually, I chose a low saturation grayish-blue color, hoping to weaken this part. A low saturation cool color can create a receding visual effect and also make the front-back relationship between the skirt, hem, and the legs more distinct. At this point, the picture still lacks bright colors to capture the audience's attention. I chose a high brightness and high saturation blue and used this color inside the clothing ribbons and the shoulders that droop. Even a small area of it can play a role in adjusting the picture, and it can also increase the contrast of saturation in some areas. Strip behind the character, I chose a grayish-blue color similar to that of hair. I also wanted to make it glow, so I didn't choose a color that was too bright. The background at the very bottom is overall colored in grayish-blue to unify the overall tone of the picture. This way, the emotional expression of the picture can be clearer. Since this character is engaged in the work of catching criminals and has a relatively serious nature of work, I think the relatively calm color of blue is more suitable for this character, which is why this color tone was chosen. For the front part, I added a bit of a darker color, because the rule of air perspective is that the brightness of colors near is lower and that far is higher. I also chose a dark color as the background for the ball floating in front of the character. In this way, spatial hierarchy can also be distinguished from the inherent color part. Part has relatively simple layers. Since the area of the background clock is quite large, its color and layers will appear rather monotonous at this time. The colors in the picture are only blue and yellow, lacking color variation. I attempted to add the color relationship of blue and green to the background dial. To make the character stand out from the picture, the contrast relationship in the character part needs to be more than that in other parts. So I added a bright gray color close to the hair color to the character's clothing. In this way, the dark colors of the clothing and skin, as well as the clothing and skirt hem, can create varying degrees of light and dark contrast, increasing the contrast in the character's torso part, which can make the audience's eyes focus on the character part. Metal line-like decorations are added to the harp, echoing the metal elements of the characters and the background. Pay attention to the relationship between density and sparseness. I use the dotted line form more often, which is also adding line elements. This can also reduce the area of the heavy color blocks on the harp body, making the harp look lighter. some golden linear elements to the lower part of the background can echo the lines on the upper part of the clock, and also enhance the color variation of the lower part. After rendering and refinement, there can also be a difference in material. The background part still lacks sufficient layers. The importance of the clock part and the bottom layer is different. The clock part has a certain relationship with the character's profession. It is still necessary to distinguish it from the bottom layer of decoration through changes in color or the amount of detail. I found some picture materials of church-stained windows in advance. These materials were completely flat. I used these materials as textures and pasted them onto the clock section to increase the color variations and the details of the images. When using image materials as textures, the colors of real photos are different from those of our pictures. We can reduce the strong colors of the materials by adjusting the layer properties of the material images. I tried changing the opacity of the material layers and overlaying the layer properties. Finally, I combined the two methods so that the materials could blend better with the existing tones of the pictures. The photo material has more color variations and also adds more multiple colors. At this time, the light and dark relationship in the picture changes. The layers in the background part also seem insufficient. I used darker colors and added more variations of light and shade in the bottom background. To highlight the element of the harp, I deepened the color of the harp and changed it to a darker color on the character's body. by using the overlay layer and the main overlay layer to adjust the light and dark contrast in the background. I wanted to make the dial part have a more obvious layering distinction, so I strengthened the light and dark changes at the main structure. Background elements and light and shade changes were increased, the character part would appear plain. So I raised the distinctness of the character's clothing part, making the color close to white. In this way, the contrast between the clothing and the skin, as well as the dark-colored fabric, would become more intense. sharing. I hope everyone can feel the joy of painting during the process. I will bring you more wonderful content. Stay tuned.